Greetings, fellow crafters. Welcome to another episode of Angela Shows You. Today, we are going to work on a cute little pouch. This one has a little snap on it. You could do them with snaps. You could do them with Velcro. You could do them with a piece of elastic sewn in and a button on the front of it. So you would just, hook it. If you are good with doing buttons, you could do in a buttonhole as well. So today, the one that we're going to do is just going to be one with a snap on it, just like this one has. These are fully lined, and they have a little ring on them so that you could, put a keychain on here. You could attach it to something, or, even if you just want something that you can easily grab it with. So what you are going to do to make this is you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric and a piece of, I used fusible fleece on the one that we're going to use today, or you could do a mid-weight interfacing. I like to use one that sews in, but you could also just use one that stitches in as well. So the one that we're going to do today, I have cut it to be about 6.5 inches wide, and this one is actually about 16.5 inches tall. However, you could make it a little bit narrower if you wanted it narrower. So this one is the finished item is 5 inches. So I probably cut it about 5.5 inches using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Would give me the 5 inches finished. So this one is 5 inches finished, and it's just over 4 inches tall, which means I cut it to be about 11 inches high. And the reason I say 11 inches high is because even though it's 4 inches tall, I've folded that in half, so that's 8 inches. And then I've also got the flap here, which measures to be just over 3 inches high. So 11 inches high gives you the 4 and then the flap to make the extra 3. So what you're going to do on this is you're going to take your outer fabric and your inner fabric. So what I did, the first step I did is I ironed on my fusible fleece onto the right side of the fabric, the outside piece. Take the outside piece and the inside piece. If your lining piece is going to have a pattern on it, you're going to put those right sides together. This one is a plain yellow, so it didn't really matter too much. But right sides together, and then you're going to stitch all the way around, leaving yourself a turn gap of, I would recommend probably, a 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches. If you're using a heavier interfacing, you are going to want a little bit bigger of a gap because it's stiffer, and that does make it a little bit harder to turn right side out. So then the next step you're going to want to do is you're going to trim the corners just a little bit. Make sure that you don't cut your threads in the corners. This is going to be helpful to just reduce a little bit of that bulk when we turn it out. Now you will notice that I stopped my interfacing. This is about 3 inches from the top. And the reason why I did that on this one was because that way the flap isn't as stiff. It doesn't have that interfacing on it. However, you can feel free to do it all the way up. This one is done all the way up, so the flap is as stiff as the rest of it is. So then you will go ahead, once you've got that stitch, you will go ahead and you will turn your product right side out. And then you're going to just want to push your corners out. Just like that. So now we've got one long piece of material. So then our next step is going to be, we're going to top stitch all the way around. We'll make sure that our turn gap, we fold our inner fabric and our lining fabric in towards each other. I'm actually going to go ahead and start my top stitch kind of right at that area. That way I just ensure that I get it closed up. Do a little back stitch. And you're just going to sew all the way around the entire project, just like that. Okay, so then after you've gone ahead and you've sewn all the way around, then you're just going to take your piece, fold it up to, so I'm going to take it to where my my fusible fleece starts. So about right here. So that'll be my flap. And then you're going to just put it back in the machine and you're going to sew the sides up. So we're going to just do this. And I'm going to use my previous stitch guide as my mark. Oops. And I went back and forth just a little bit on that at the top there, just to give it a little bit of extra reinforcement. Now on this side, if you were going to add your little hook, what you'll want to do here is kind of figure out, you know, where you want it placed and just pop it in there. That's actually a little bit on a little long, I think. There we go. That's a little bit shorter. So just kind of decide, you know, where do you want it? How close to the top do you want it? I'm gonna just kind of put it about an inch or so down from the top, and then you're just going to do the same thing. I'm going to use my original stitch mark as a guide. And then when I get to my little tab, I am going to go back stitch over that just to really reinforce it on there. stitch all the way down to the bottom, back stitch. Okay, so there we go. So this one will be a little bit longer. So now we are actually done with the sewing portion of that. These are so quick and easy to make. So then the next step is going to be to add our snap. So I've got my snap tool. I can leave a link in the description box below to the items that I use. I bought this on Amazon. It came with a whole bunch of colored snaps, and it came with the snappy tool, and it came with the poker that you're going to use to kind of give your item a poke in. I'm going to use this darker yellow because it gives a nice good match. So you're just going to take, so you need two of these flat pieces, and then you need one, I got two of the same one here. Okay, so then you need two other pieces. You need kind of the male and the female piece here. So then what you're going to do is you're going to figure out on your item, where is it that you want your snap to be. So I usually, do a little bit up. So I'll probably kind of go up in here. So all you're going to do is you're going to poke it through, and I actually like to poke it through. I don't want to poke it all the way through though. So I am using my finger to keep this back piece of fabric in, and then I do kind of just work it just a little bit in there. So now my material, I don't think that you can really see, but this poked a hole in my material, and it poked the hole on this one as well. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your flat pieces, and you're going to put the flat piece on the outside, stick it in that hole that you just created, and you're going to poke that through like that. And then you'll take your end. I'm going to actually use that male end. You're going to put it on there, give it a little bit of a push, okay? Then you'll take this other flat side, you're going to put that inside in that hole, poke it in. Then you'll take this other end here, and you're going to put it on there, give it a little bit of a push. Then you're going to take your squeeze tool, and you're going to, so this tool has kind of like a flat base, and then this piece actually has a little, like a divot in it, I guess is what you're going to call it. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to put the flat end of the snap on the flat end of the piece, and then you're going to line up what you're looking to do is you're going to take this sharp little piece here, because this is pretty sharp. You're going to take this, that is going to go up in the little divot thing in here, and you're just going to give it a good squeeze. And I mean a good squeeze, okay? And what that's going to do is that will kind of flatten in that sharp piece. Remember, you've got that sharp piece there, so that flattens that inside here. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. We're going to take the flat end, we're going to insert it, and then we're going to line up, and we're going to give another good squeeze. And I just want to make sure that I've got that lined up where it needs to be. Okay, give it a good squeeze. Okay, there. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it snap, but no, you can't really hear it. It's pretty quiet. I think you might have heard it unsnap, but there you go. So now the only thing that would be left to do is we just, of course, want to trim off all of our little threads that we have from doing this project. Now, I will say that I realized after I cut this and got started, this is a directional fabric. So it is kind of silly looking to have a directional fabric going this way. So this probably wasn't the best choice of fabric. So that is definitely going to be something that you're going to want to consider when making these, is if your material, like this Mickey one, you know, he's kind of printed all over the place, so it didn't matter as much. So this one is a little bit on the goofy side looking, but you know, that's okay. I don't even really know exactly what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to be traveling, so I may use this. I'll probably give it a little bit of an iron, because it is, you know, they do get a little bit wrinkly when you're turning things right side out. They do get a little wrinkled, but I mean, that's easy. So you're going to take your 2 pieces of fabric, you'll do your interfacing, sew the 2 pieces of fabric right sides together. Like in this instance, it mattered, so I put the striped side and the Mickey side right sides together. Sew all the way around, leave yourself a turn gap, turn right sides out, top stitch all the way around, fold however tall you want, fold up, and then you will stitch on one side, you'll stitch on the other side, and you know, like this one, you know, you can see a little bit where it was, but if you want one of these, you don't have to put this in. Stick this where you want it, and then sew. I did go, you know, I showed you, I went back and forth a little bit to reinforce this, and then your snap. Or if you want to do Velcro, you can do Velcro, and you can either do, you know, they've got a Velcro that irons on, and that actually has a very good adhesion. So you could do, you know, a little piece of Velcro. They have dots and they have little squares, so you could do a Velcro dot as well. And that just gives you something to give it a little bit of close. I have one of these that I use in my purse. These are nice to put gift cards in, or sometimes you might, you know, if you're not wanting to carry a purse, you might put your driver's license in here and some cash. You know, anything. You could use it when you're traveling. You could put, if you're a lady, you might want to put some jewelry in there, some necklaces or earrings, maybe, you know, some ponytail holder can go in here. Lots of little uses for pouches. You could even put a gift card in something like this, and you could give an item like this right to a recipient. That way they've got something that's usable in addition to a gift card. So lots of different options. I hope that you found this video helpful. I hope that you'll consider giving this a thumbs up, and please subscribe to Angela Shows You for more that is coming in the future. Have a good day.